we're talking about what he took, what Esav took to go out into the field. He took out his Telyecha and Kashtecha. The Telyecha, right, Pasuk Gimel, is here. Jerry, what, you need a Chumash? I got one. Yeah. What? It's a nice one. Telyecha is something that comes from the root that we said. Right? What's the root of Telyecha? Toleh. Right? Toleh is when you have right. What's one of the few ways of killing someone is to hang him. Right? Toleh. So we say Toleh Eretz al Blima. The world hangs on Blima. And what's Blima? On someone who closes his mouth. Anyone who doesn't reply. Toilet, the world hangs on me, Shaboilim is pick, someone who closes his mouth, doesn't respond back. So therefore he told him, Yitzchak told Esav, go to the field. Saw means da, this special word saw, comes from the root. Rashi said, hashches, to
stab or something?
No. Saw means carry according to Onkelos, but Rashi had a different definition for saw. Right, look at Rashi.
Sharpen?
Right. Rashi said from the word, in the beginning he didn't help you out so much. Rashi just told you it's like hashchaza, but in the end he said chadad. Chadad is hard, and that's sharp, to be sharp. So he told him, sharpen your knife to make sure that you sharpen properly. And we spoke out, again, kashtecha. So Telyecha would be the sword. So Sada Kelecha, sharpen your kalim, make sure your kalim are very sharp. Which utensils? So Rashi said the knife should be a good shchita, because if there's any nicks in the blade, then there's something wrong, then it's not a good shchita. To run your thumb over the blade of the knife, and then if you don't feel any nicks, then it's a good shchita. It's the way a person thinks. When he's learning a Gemara, the Gemara has to be very smooth. It has to be so smooth that it should be like running your thumb over the blade. And when you think through something in the Gemara, it has to go smooth. If there's any nicks in the blade, if there's something that doesn't seem right, that's a nick in the blade, then you have to stop yourself and you have to stop whoever's talking and say, I don't understand, there's something not going smooth. Torah is supposed to be very smooth and just supposed to go.
Wait, how did we just get on the topic of how Torah is supposed to be? Weren't we talking about the blade?
I'm telling you how the way to see if the knife is good is you have to run your thumb over the knife.
Isn't that going to stop
your nail? No, you don't run your thumb over the
nail. The nail of your thumb over the knife.
And that way you can tell if it's smooth. No,
right.
So
if you get cut, then it's smooth enough.
If you
don't get cut, then it's
if it goes on if the nail goes through smoothly, then it's okay. So I'm just giving you a mashal. That the knife is a mashal, giving you just an idea that we say. Then when you learn Torah, it's supposed to be smooth.
But the knife is killing something. Torah is supposed to
be a
positive.
When you check the knife, it's just a parable.
Why is the knife a mashal for Torah?
It's just a parable.
Torah kills you. It's a
parable. It's a parable.
Knife is not a mashal.
Just to tell you how to think in Torah. When you think in Torah, it's supposed to go smooth. It shouldn't be. In the other Gemara, there shouldn't be anything that's like a nick in the middle of the Gemara. Like it just doesn't go. You have to. It's supposed to go smooth. And if there's a problem, then you have to stop yourself, and you have to stop the Rebbe and say, it's not, there's a nick here, and that helps you think. That helps you think, and then you get to the bottom
of it.
That's what I just did.
It's not a nick, and everyone's yelling at me for asking questions.
You have to just pay attention before you do that. No, so I'm just saying, it's just a parable. I'm just telling you how to think. That's the way to think. The way to think is if you have something that doesn't make sense, you got to stop right there. The Torah all is perfect. It all makes sense, and it's supposed to bring joy to learning, to when you learn it. And if it doesn't, then there's something wrong in the way you're learning it, and you pass by something or you hit a nick and maybe you just skipped it over like you didn't feel it, just went over it, go.
Then you get depressed.
Yeah, then you get depressed. So you have to learn with joy and with understanding. Understanding gives joy. If you understand what you're learning, it makes it beautiful. You have to go over it a few times till you get to that joy, till you get to that Havana, till you understand it. But once you understand it, it's joy. Okay, now let's go further in the pasuk here. And we spoke out, so Telyecha is the thing that hangs. And what hangs? So Rashi says the thing that hangs is the sword. the sword used to hang on the thigh of a person, and it would be ready to pull it out on a moment's notice. So that was the first thing. Now look at the next words in Rashi right there on the spot. The pasuk actually, let's look at the pasuk first. The pasuk says these words. Yitzchak told him, take these kalim and say asada, go out to the field. Vitzuda lead sayid. And tzuda lead sayid. Sayid is, we spoke this out once before, that notice Esav, when we described him back in the beginning of Parshas Toldos, we had a description. Yaakov was Ishtam. He was a simple man. He sat in the field. And Esav was Ish Tzayid. He was a trapper. So here too, the word Tzayid means to trap. So he said, Suda li Tzayid. Trap for me, a trap. Okay? Now, it's interesting, in the Chumash, the word Tzayid actually is spelled with a funny word, funny letters inside the word. It's spelled Sadik Yud Dalet Hey. You see that little, it says Kri, it says Ksiv and Kri next to it. So it's really, if you wouldn't have the kudos, you would read the pasuk as saying Vitzuda li, maybe something Seda or something, but we read it, that's the Ksiv. The Ksiv is how it's written, but the Kri is how we read it. The Kri is how we read it, Sayid. Trap for me, a trapping. So they ask, but why is there an extra letter Hey here? Right? Doesn't, you don't
What's
just
a
put it
female
in.
trapping?
So what is that idea? So the Balaturim,
A wife.
the Balaturim says, right, the one who wrote the Balaturim, the Torah writes that it put in a hay because they want to tell you that there were 5 things that he told them to be careful about when you shecht. The Gemara in Kulin says there are 5 things you have to be careful when you shecht to do it properly. Not to press down while you shecht. 5 different things. And he was just giving him a little bit of an allusion to those 5 things. He told him to be careful when you shecht. So that's an interesting idea that the Balaturim brings down. The 5 things.
Wasn't there also 5 things Esav did when he went out?
Yes, that is true. That is true.
So how do you get
they don't
the 5
put that in
things?
here. The 5 things are,
How do you get the 5 things?
because there's a hey. The Tzudalit Sayid. Sayid is spelled Sadik Yud Dalet Hey. So that hey, here we go. The hay is spelled with extra hay, so we say because the hay is 5.
But you don't need the hay.
And you don't need the hay, it's extra. So therefore he's coming to do these 5 things, not to, it has to be, you have to cut it, not press. One of the things is you shouldn't press the knife. It's supposed to cut, it's very sharp, not to press. Different things.
Could it be data like a female animal?
Okay, it could have been, but the Balaturim doesn't say that. And the way we read the pasuk, we don't read it say da, we read it sayid. Sayid is like without it.
Yeah, but you put it in.
Maybe you could say it's his for Hashem. Hashem is like with him because like when he does keep it up.
It could be that he. Okay, interesting.
And if you say it's Pesach, when it's sacrifice, that should be.
So it was Pesach. We did speak that out last week. It was that this night that Yitzchak called him. It was Pesach night, and he had to shecht this carbon. Okay.
When was Yitzchak born?
Yitzchak was born also on Pesach. Also, that's Parashas when we have the 3 Malachim come in. Parashas Vayera was also Pesach when the Malachim came, and a year later was when he was born. Okay, but anyway, let's go further. Let's go further. We'll get into this on Rosh Hashanah to speak about it then, to get into that. But there's different views. The Vilna Gaon says it was Rosh Hashanah, but the Rashi, and we're going to see, and then a few psukim later, says it was Pesach. Okay, so that's the idea of the hay. And what is the last word? So what does it mean? Sudalit Sayid. You should trap for me a trapping. So it's interesting. It's like a little bit of a. What is he coming to do with Sudalit Sayid? So Rashi had a problem with the word li. Right, that last Rashi in the pasuk said, why did he have to say li? Because the next pasuk he's going to tell him Havi Ali, bring it to me. So why do you have to say Sudali? Right, why does it say the li? So Rashi here says the li is coming to teach me, to me, mina hefker, v'le mina gezel. He's telling him that it should be from hefker. It should be from ownerless.
From the wild.
Ownerless and not
like a
from
cattle.
gezel. Make sure it's not stolen.
Not one of my animals, and not stolen from a neighbor.
Okay. And therefore he told him Tzuda. You have to trap it, because if it would have been shamor, if it would have been washed, if he would steal it, then he could just go to his neighbor's yard. He doesn't have to trap it. He just has to steal it, where it's an offense. He just like pull it out. But he said trap. Go to the field where you have to go hunt down an animal and get it out. And therefore Rashi therefore says that's what the Sudali is coming to teach me, that you should go into the field and go get a good trapping and hunting it down. Okay, so that's the ideas here on this pasuk. Now let's make a laning on pasuk Dalet. Okay, keep your ears open for anything interesting. What is the root?
It's a new restaurant on top.
Matamim? Tam.
Like tam-tam.
Ta'im is tasty, something that tastes good.
Isn't a tam also like a passive animal?
Tam is with a tough.
No, he's got
A tough mem. Ishtam is a very simple man. There we say on the Haggadah there are 4 children and one of them is a tam. Chacham, Rasha,
Remember, isn't it also when we talk about the laws of animals, like you have...
Tam is right, and there's another idea of being complete. Tam, it also means to be complete, not to have a mum. Right. That's one of the things you have to make sure an animal doesn't have any mum, so it's tam. If it's complete, without any mum, that's also kosher for carbons.
Me, my daughter, she has no moves.
Okay. If you're a Kohen, if you're Kohen, you make sure that you don't get a good, or you don't get any mum, because then, it's a problem. I actually once was in Eretz Yisrael, and I went to someone's house, a Kohen, and he's a great rabbi, and his son, he put them up, with a big, beautiful education. This little boy was like 5, 6, or 7, and he like stabbed he hurt his finger or whatever. He got like a little blood. So he asked his father, "Am I a Baal Mum? Can I still serve in the Beis HaMikdash?"
Wow.
So, yeah, different mentality. Okay. Anyway, that's for Kohen, but
No. Yeah.
But it has to be a big mum to. So anyway, the pasuk says that Ba'aseli matamim, make for me matamim. Now Onkelos, by the way, helped out in case you didn't get what the word matamim is. Onkelos, right, your second to best friend, said Tavshilin, right? Tavshilin means cooked foods, like we have. Excellent, JR. Get ready.
They weren't raw delicacies.
So he told him, make for me some good matamim, some good cooked foods. And they speak about that idea. Why did he ask for
That means meat, right? That's...
Yeah, cooked salad.
So
Who speaks about it?
we will see later on what it meant. It meant to be.
Wasn't it like his favorite?
It did mean, right? And we'll see exactly what Yaakov took was similar. Tami Gedi. He took like a Gedi, similar to this. It was meat,
kid.
right?
What he took was kid.
Okay, we're going to get up to it soon. Anyway, so for now, it's just an interesting thing.
It was the new kid on the block.
Now. The reason why I told him this matamim is because he wanted to taste it. Richard, let's just get it underway here. Matamim is tasty foods because Yitzchak was blind. So he said, the main thing is it should be tasty. It should have good spices in it.
Probably had heightened senses.
Was he
He couldn't really see it, so he couldn't
He
enjoy
didn't
it.
care what it looked like. He just cared what it tasted like.
Right.
Was he entirely blind? No.
He was pretty blind.
He was
Blind enough to give the wrong
He couldn't
bracha.
recognize Yaakov.
He was blind. He was blind to the act who is this. He said, "Are you Yaakov?" It seemed like he was
He
blind.
wouldn't pass the driving test.
He had those cataract glasses, those big glasses. I thought that he wasn't entirely blind, but his vision was.
No, it seems like he was blind enough that he couldn't tell between Yaakov and Esav had red hair. Yaakov did not. So
Like, could you not tell between Mike and myself?
But they had the same features. They had the same. Weren't they?
no, but one is red, one is orange hair, and one is red, one is black. So we'll take on that he was blind. Okay. So let's go further. Now that's the idea that they bring up. Let's go further. So the question is, why was he asking for this food? Right? Did you think about it a little bit off the daf?
He needed the energy for the bracha. I don't know.
Eli said that maybe he wanted him to do one last mitzvah to deserve the bracha.
He was being blessed in the...
One second. Eli was just mechaven to I believe it's the Svarno, right? The Svarno says, he asked him for matamim kidei sheyis asek b'kibud of, in order that he should have to get involved, asla so, in kibud of, get involved, ubazeh tochel alav bracha. And with that, the bracha will be able to land on him, because then he'll be fit for it. He'll get one more mitzvah, which will give him the zechus.
But Esau was always kibbutz.
Who said that?
He was. That's true. But sometimes,
not in fact.
but he asked him to do one more mitzvah. It happened to be keep it up. That happened to be his prime mitzvah. But he asked him to do that one more mitzvah to get that zechus, to let him be worthy of the mitzvah. This is the svarno right on the spot. Now, there is that's one pshat. Okay, now there's another pshat. What did he ask? So why did he ask for the food, the good food? So that's one idea. The other idea, now why did he want good food?
The Seder?
What did
It's like the same reason we give like a prisoner the capital punishment, the one last final
he's
meal
about to
before.
Because he's going to die. So I'll tell you what the Rabbeinu Bechaya says. Rabbeinu Bechaya, he's early, and he has the same name. It's not so clear if he was the same person.
Okay.
It sounds like, but he was back then, early.
Is that a commentary on Rashi?
He's actually a commentary on the Ramban. Whenever you have a Ramban and you're not so sure about what the Ramban is saying, the Rabbeinu Bechaya always explains it and adds on a little more.
And the Ramban is a commentary on Rashi, no?
Sometimes. Ramban didn't always come to say it. Rashi, sometimes he came to argue, and sometimes he came to just say his own pshat. A lot of times he doesn't quote it, sometimes he does. But it's not his purpose to explain Rashi. His purpose was to argue on Rashi if he felt it wasn't the right one. But the Rabbeinu Bechaya says that a little bit what you're saying, to enjoy. Why did he want a good piece of meat, a good piece of steak before he gave the bracha? She said because he's now going to give a bracha, which is you have to get the height of nevuah. Nevuah is to be a prophet.
To be happy.
You have to be happy. Now, why? Why do you have to be happy to have?
A prophet's not allowed to be depressed.
That's true. Right. That's one of the
That's
few
not the
things.
answer.
Right.
That's just the statement again.
No, so it's true. A prophet cannot be sad. It can't be absolute, or absolute can't be sad or lazy. Right. That's true. But why does he need that happiness in him? Yes, J.R.
Well, no, because you'll appreciate Hashem more if you have something in His world and it's delicious and it's fantastic. So then the tzaddik will think, oh, Hashem, look what Hashem makes in His world and how He puts it together. My only question is, then why doesn't He have yayin then? Because we say that yayin is the one that opens up sort of our gates of like, you know.
I would have to think about that. We have to look at the
he's going to
psukim
give
and
a
see.
bracha. He doesn't want to be drunk.
No, I was reading.
We'd have to see if he bought wine. We'd have to keep our ears open. We're not up to that.
He's supposed to give a bracha for physicality, so maybe that's why he needs food.
No, I was reading.
That is actually a machavin to someone says that also.
But I was reading that you have to.
No, one of the Achonim say that. One of the Achonim do say that since he's getting a bracha about the physical world, therefore he wanted to give him in that idea.
I read somewhere yesterday that said that only places of joy and happiness is where Hashem dwells. Like if there's sadness and distress, that Hashem.
So that right. So that would be good also. This you and Oleg and Mike are touching on this answer in the happiness. So the answer Rabbeinu Bechaya says is that in order to get to that heightened level of ruchnius, of prophecy,
We have to settle down the Gashmias.
Right.
To appease it.
Right.
We don't do that on Yom Kippur.
Mike, how do you know? You saw the Ali Shore?
That's why I eat all the time.
Excellent. His idea is to raise to a high level in spirituality. And this is actually, we're going to speak about prophecy, but it applies to everything. It applies to sitting down and davening and learning and doing mitzvahs.
So you should eat before daven?
So we're going to speak about it.
Isn't that the Rebbe says?
Let me just say the part. The part is that you can't have the body pained when you're trying to do a mitzvah. Right?
On Yom Kippur,
It's a good question. It's a good question. Yeah, it's a good. We'll have to, let me first say the part. The actual words are that your body has needs, and if your body's needs are not taken care of, then the body will oppose you and will pain you to get. It wants to take care of its needs, and that it won't let you take care of your spiritual needs as long as it's not taken care of. So if you ever try to, like fast, a whole morning, and then you're trying to daven by Musaf, it's very hard sometimes. If it's a late minyan or something, you can't concentrate, right? You're trying to sit down and learn, or if you're tired and you're trying to learn, you're going to fall asleep because you're fighting the kaichas of the guf. There was powers in the guf, the body, and the body needs to be taken care of. And if you don't take care of it, it will fight, and it won't let you do what you have to do spiritually. Therefore, this is what the pasuk is telling us, that you have to take care of your physical needs and you have to satisfy it, basically, right? You're supposed to sleep 8 hours a night, the Rambam says. Supposed to sleep, so you shouldn't be dozing off, because or else you're going to be fighting yourself in the middle of the shir.
Yeah, but he also says if you want to be a Talmid Chacham, you have to minimize your sleep.
Yeah.
Right, so that's true too. You know, the Rogatchover says he's lost many hours of sleep on trying to figure out the Rambam that says you have to sleep 8 hours.
What's more important?
So,
Your body or your learning?
But the idea is at least you have to take care of it, because if you don't take care of it, then it's going to fight and going to act up and say, I'm hungry, or I'm tired, or I need a shower, and you're going to be scratching, so you won't be able to learn. So therefore, all of these things is what we see from Yitzchak. So Yitzchak didn't only say, give me something to eat. He wanted to even pacify his guf, and even like you give it like a bone and like keep it occupied for a little while. So he gave himself. He said, bring me some good meat. I want to make my body happy. And once my body's happy, then I'll be able to devote myself totally towards ruchnius, towards spirituality, until I could actually get into the spirituality and raise to the highest heights.
Oh, so why meat then?
What?
Why meat? Can't you use bread?
No, it could be, but the highest joy.
That was the thing. That's the relationship was based on him giving him the basa.
That's number
He's
one.
not going to say go grow wheat and grind it and bake it and make me some.
No, because the Gemara says on Yom Tif, "Ein simcha ela b'basar v'yayin." You need wine and meat to be happy.
But no wine.
So we're going to see the. We're not up to there. We're not up to any Buddha.
Jared's question about
JR said wine. What?
What about Jared's question about the days we fast?
So one second. That's a good question. First, let's finish the word. But in reference to JR's first question, the wine. We're going to see if you did bring the wine. That was Max. Actually. Give credit to Max.
Max out some basket.
Okay.
One more question?
No, he's
So let's just finish this point.
First question.
So that's why you see the Nevi'im. You'll look at there's a pasuk that says that the Nevi'im, they used to sing. Yeah, they used to have the harp, and the harp would give them happiness, and they would settle their guf, and then they could rise to those levels of prophecy.
And that's why we're not allowed to play it during the Sfiras Omer?
Right, because that also brings simcha, brings happiness.
Different thing.
So this is, and that's the idea, and you wouldn't believe it, but like, this is what I said, it's from the Ali Shur. He was written by Reb Volba.
Do they have that in English, or is it only?
They don't have it in English. It's a Hebrew. It's not in English, but you have something else just on parenting, raising children in English. But from him, it's the Hebrew. But if you have a dictionary, you can go through it.
Dictionary in a lot of time.
Okay, so if you want, I'm just going to tell you one part. You'll look it up later. You'll have this part. You'll know about it. But you wouldn't expect he was one of the all-time mentors in Musar. Musar is working on ethics and working on yourself. You would expect. What would you expect if you go over to someone off the street and say, "What would you think the greatest ethical personality and teacher of working on your character?" What would he tell you? What would be his lesson?
Abstinence.
Abstinence, and there's another word. What's it called?
Vegetarianism.
Asceticism.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Asceticism.
To refrain what?
Who are we talking about?
No.
ASC.
ASCETISM.
Not Hasidism.
So that is when you refrain from pleasures, right? The church,
Like the
other
Christians.
things- right? They think that's how you become holy. You refrain from all the pleasures of life. Here you have the biggest Torah personality that lived. He was in our generation. He just died a few years ago.
Who's
5
he?
years ago.
Oh, I'm sure?
Volva.
Oh, I'm hoping now.
He
wrote the
wrote
Ali
a Sefer Ali
Oh, that's the
Shur.
name of the book.
That's his name. That's the name of his book, man.
It's Ali Shur. He was the leader of the Mir. So in Yerushalayim, he used to give a shmooze every other week. So when he writes here, he brings down this idea of Esav, and therefore he says that that's something a person has to keep in mind when he comes to do service of Hashem. You have to make sure that you realize what's happening here. What does your body want before you sit down, right? Before you sit down to learn or daven, because or else you get up if you have something also on your mind. That's why you have to settle down your mind before you start to daven. Because if you don't, right, if you just jump into Shemona Esrei, right, run into a mincha, your mind's not settled down. So you're fighting your koichas haguf. Your guf needs to settle down. It needs food. It needs everything. It needs to be taken care of. So therefore, this is what he says. That you should always be aware and take care of your guf. You have to give it shoichat, give it a little bribery, take care of it, and then it'll be happy. And then he says different ideas how to apply this. he says, one idea, I'll give you a little...
Tom?
Little Tom, what he says. Very good. He says, for example, a person has to be very careful. You shouldn't get into fights with your guf. You shouldn't be fighting your guf, right? People think, I'm going to break it. Don't fight with the guf. You have to give it to eat. This is not. You're not supposed to be fighting and fasting and right. This is what he's saying. He's saying you should try to keep. You should be masudar. You should have all your stuff in order. You shouldn't have a mess.
Offering at the end because they sinned.
Or being dirty, not clean. All these ideas, he says, is part of, not because these things itself are a end to itself, but it's a means that a person should let his guf be quiet, and then he could do all these things. He shouldn't be walking on a street where he's going to have to fight with himself not to look at improper things. You don't want to fight your guf. You want to try to pacify your guf, so you go around. You go down a different road. That's better. So all these ideas he brings in, when you daven, all these things, you have to understand what exactly your body wants. What is maybe your body doesn't want to daven because it doesn't feel like humbling itself. You have to understand. You have to understand that the root is
my body doesn't want to get up
gaiva.
in the morning normally.
So
6:30.
You trick it. You say, I'll just daven and then I'll go back to bed.
limit, right?
Thanks to an idea. You got to work with v'hafta is Hashem lekecha b'chol levavecha. What does levavecha mean?
All your heart.
All of your levavecha is two.
Two hearts.
You got to use the Yetzer Hara. How do you love Hashem with your Yetzer Hara? You got to use the Yetzer Hara, as Max is saying. You got to. That's one thing. But you got to use your Yetzer Hara, as Max says, to outsmart your Yetzer Tov.
That's what I'm
You got to think up these plans, and the same way Yetzer Hara works against you, use the Yetzer Hara against the Yetzer Tov. Yetzer Hara against the Yetzer Hara. You got to use these different plans. So therefore, he's saying, don't hide yourself and think I'm not going to eat lunch and then I'm just going to come to learn, right? Because then an hour later, or a half hour later, when you're middle learning, you just to hear your stomach grumbling, and Bruce is going to ask, "Who's that? What'd you bring?" So that's the idea here. The person always has to be aware and take care of his guf. That's what doesn't mean that you should overindulge, right? If anything, if a person eats too much, then he won't be able to. His stomach, then what happens is, the Gemara says, "Ve'achalta v'savata, hishameru lachem pen yifta levavchem." That someone he only rebels, he's moirid only on a full heart. So therefore, if he's full, so then you start getting haughty, and you say the person thinks he's everything, and he forgets about Hashem. He doesn't want to do anything, right? Sometimes you find you ate a whole big meal, now you can't even move. No, it has to be eating a meal, a good meal, but to give you power to go and jump up and go learn the whole shir, and you won't have to think about any food for the next hour and a half. You'll be able to just soar up to the sky.
What about Shabbat? When you destroy yourself with food?
You shouldn't.
So right, shouldn't.
Come on.
There are some people. You have to. Everything has to be with the right measure, the right meal. It shouldn't be too much food. It should be the right amount. Although on Shabbos you have a little bit extra room. We have a
Shama Yisera.
The Shama Yisera.
Naturally, you still gain weight.
Yeah, but that's an neshama. That's not two goofs.
I know, but Rashi said that you have a little bit extra room. Rashi in Gemara and Beah says you have a little extra room to enjoy Hashem's goodness.
Are you saying that already at the point where you have to, let's say, make, where you're already full by dessert, where you have to make a hayt, Brayman Mazono separately, already is that eating too much, where you're already satisfied from the meal?
Well, the Gemara says you always have room for dessert.
Yeah.
On Shabbos,
Wait, I needed the story.
on Shabbos it says that, or all the time?
Says I believe it's in Pesachim. The Gemara says that the person always has room.
No, but always, every day?
There's the wheel.
Or just on Shabbos, is it like Yom Tov, what's it talking about?
No, it's in general. The person always has room for dessert.
Eat dessert.
So, therefore, that's what a person has to keep in mind. Not to overeat. Doesn't mean pacify your guf, just eat and eat and eat. It has to be with the shear, with the exact amount, how much you need to give you power and koyach, and sleep. You don't want to just sleep, okay, I'll sleep 12 hours. Too much sleep is unhealthy. After 8 hours, it should be 8 hours. Once it's more than that, it's damaging.
If you're already full from the meal and you're satisfied, and you're satisfied that you have to make another bracha on this dessert, wouldn't you already be eating too much?
What, the bracha on the dessert is
I'm
a
saying
different
the bracha
issue.
if you're not, but it's only if you're still hungry and you're eating and you're eating it because you're hungry. Then
What?
then you don't have to make
But the bracha on dessert is a separate issue.
But I thought you only have to make but you only have to make a bracha on dessert if you're not still hungry. If you're still hungry, then people consider.
No. Dessert is a separate thing. You only make everything part of the meal. You don't make a bracha on. Dessert is not coming from the meal. It's not a regular food served during the meal. So you make a bracha on all desserts. But that's Hilchos brachos.
Make a bracha on all desserts, not just.
But we have to get Hilchos brachos to go into all of these details. But that's the idea.
People make mizonah, no mizonah.
We have to get into halacha. Eventually, we're going to after we
different minhagim about that.
No, so we make brachas on shahakol, candies, or fruits, or hadama type of fruits. All fruits and all candies, they don't come for the meal, and therefore you don't make a bracha. Ice cream or ices that's a little bit of question.
So
it's like a
drink.
drink. That's like a drink. So if like a drink, drinks are still potter. You don't take a bracha. So you can take a little chocolate chip. Mike has a good idea.
Make
a little chocolate chip. Make a shahakol on the chocolate chip, and you cover everything. Okay. Now cakes are a different issue.
By that though, you should take a chocolate chip and instead of making a hayes, you should have in mind that you're saying
no for the ice cream.
I'm talking about for the ice cream.
They actually have
anyway,
special chocolate chips you buy.
Anyway. Anyway, so now, okay. So therefore you have to, I'm just saying, it doesn't mean just listen to your book, you have to keep it with the shear, because or else you'll notice, certain times, it doesn't help to just sleep too much or eat too much, it has to be done with the right amount. So let's go further.
Well, what about the Yom Kippur questions? On this point, I think it's...
Now, Yom Kippur, JR asked the question that how do you soar up to Shemayim if you're...
No, it was actually Max.
If you're fasting.
Same
Oh, yes, Max?
I know how you do it, but that's just for the rest of
there it's different, because that is your service of the day. The service of the day is not to sit down and learn up a pasuk and enjoy the Torah. If you have a break, you could. But the service of the day is to afflict yourself in the 5 ways, not to wear leather shoes, not to smear yourself with oil, and not to eat. So that is the avodah of the day, the service of the day, and the service of the day is to do teshuvah, to do repentance. And then that day is a special day. Rabbeinu Yonah says in Shara Tshuva that if you do teshuvah on Yom Kippur, it's like it gets accepted very easily during the 10 days of repentance, and especially on Yom Kippur. And it's a mitzvah to do teshuvah on Yom Kippur. There's a special mitzvah in the Torah to do teshuvah on Yom Kippur. So therefore, the service of the day is to actually do teshuvah and come closer to Hashem in that angle, through that angle of service of Hashem, right? There's a lot of different angles. There's 613 ways to come close to Hashem. And although, right, it's not all the same ways, right? There's different ways how to get to New York. You could go through this way, go that way. So the Zohar says that the 613 mitzvahs are 613 eitzahs. There's 613 pieces of advice that you could get close to Hashem. And the way to do it is to do the mitzvahs, but you have to see Hashem in front of you. And as you do the mitzvah, and as you daven, you see that you're talking to Hashem. Hashem is right here. He's actually right here. And when you daven, He's listening to every word that you say. If you believe that, and every mitzvah that you do, you believe Hashem's right here, and He's the mitzvah, and you're doing the mitzvah with Hashem there, so these 613 ways bring you closer till you end up close with Hashem, right? Or else you end up like a pomegranate.
But
What does that mean? Like a pomegranate?
613 seeds.
Yeah, 613 seeds. And the Gemara says... Excellent, Mike. The Gemara says that even the empty Jews of the Kaisel, even the empty Jews are like they are filled with seeds like a pomegranate. That's how many mitzvahs they have. They have like seeds like a pomegranate. So they all ask, what is that? 613 mitzvahs. That's amazing. Well, why the empty Jews they're filled up with 613 mitzvahs like a pomegranate?
They haven't used it yet.
So they say, like Mike says, that the pomegranate, the seeds are scattered all over the inside. So he does mitzvahs. He does a mitzvah lulav. He does a mitzvah of Yom Kippur, but they're all scattered. They're not like an apple or a different.
They're separate.
An apple has it in the core, all the seeds right there, bound together. That's how a person has to be when he does the mitzvahs. He sees Hashem right in front of him, and therefore he does the mitzvah. He gets close to Hashem in this angle, until he gets totally double. He gets attached to Hashem slowly but surely. You daven, you get close to Hashem in this eitzah, in this way, and that is the idea. A person has to live with Hashem his whole life, And that's how you get close. It's not just do mitzvahs. It's not, as we said last night, it's not just a secret potion, right? You spoke about put on the tzitzis and you won't do an aveira. Just fill in mezuzah and tzitzis, right? It's not just a secret potion, you'll be surrounded by mitzvahs. You have to do the mitzvahs with the right intention, seeing Hashem there, and then you become close to Hashem.
Isn't one allowed to take on an optional fast?
Yeah, but it's not recommended here because you're starting up with your body, and then you're not going to be able to serve Hashem right.
Fasting for one day isn't. I mean, there are.
For nowadays, it's not recommended to do that.
I don't, but I could.
You're right, but therefore our grades are saying that you're not supposed to do that because then you're starting up with yourself. You're not going to be able to have a kavanah when you're going to be learning or davening. Sometimes Cholam is different, right? There you have to if you have a bad dream. Okay.
Who's the one that said that whole thing that Yitzchak ate to appease his body?
So Rabbeinu Bachaya is saying here, Rabbeinu Bachaya, he's early Rishon. So he's saying that, therefore that's what Yitzchak was saying. Bring me some good meat. Therefore I could pacify my body will be happy, got a good piece of meat. And then I'll be able to just go and learn a little bit and go up to the heights. And we can't get to the height of Nevuah, of prophecy. But we could all take out from that on our own level, not the prophecy, but at least to learning a good learning, or davening a good davening, or doing a good mitzvah, right? If you have to help your wife, you do a good mitzvah, you pacify your body, that you should at least, be happy and be able to do whatever she wants. She wants to clean the dishes, so you got to, got to work at yourself.
Clean the dishes.
Okay.
Worse.
Anyway, we're gonna
My
have to
mother never took me to a mall when I was 9 years old, as much as my wife does.
We're gonna have to have a separate chair on Shalom Bayis.
Yeah, this is like getting.
Okay.
Let's watch the Yankee games. I don't know how that happened.
Okay.
Right, but if he wants to appease his body, why does he ask him to get him food that's going to take him hours and hours to prepare?
Who took it? It took 8 of hours.
Right.
He's got to
I don't know how many hours. The truth is,
He's got a barbecue.
he was pretty good at hunting.
Is that when he went in?
Yeah, that was his specialty.
Yeah, but after cooking,
He was like the best
like
trapper.
25 seconds.
He was very good. And the truth is, you wonder, he didn't realize Esav was very fast. So Rivka is going to tell him quickly go get the bracha. Now, if you wonder how did he do it so fast, so there is a medrash that says that Esav really trapped one right away, but a malach came and let it out. He had all these traps. A malach let it out. So he trapped it again, and a malach let it out, and therefore Yaakov was able to come and get the brachas. And as he left, the malach let him take it. That's a medrash. Okay.
Sounds like a good one.
Good. So that's okay. It's just okay.
I want to start share.
So that's what the idea was. Rabbeinu Bachaya says this idea, as well as others. You can find this idea also in the Torah Tamima Chumash. He brings this down in the name of the Maharam, who was early Rishon.
Okay.
And he also says this idea that you have to be b'simcha, but the Rabbeinu Bachaya is the one who actually speaks this out, that you should want to, your body should be in peace, and now you can soar up. Actually, the Ran, Revolver brings it from the Ran.
So it's not the Rabbeinu Bachaya?
Rabbeinu Bachaya says the idea, that this idea, and the Ran is brought, also the Ran. So it's the Ran brought in the Ali Shur.
Oh yeah, the Parsha.
Okay. Pasuk, that's Pasuk Dalet, right? Do we finish it?
Yes.
So we have to just finish the end of it.
We didn't do the Rashi on it.
Okay, so let's finish. Let's just finish the end of the pasuk. Vaseli matamim. So make me matamim, these tasty foods, right? We say this pasuk v'dogim achol matamim. We say on Shabbos in Yom Zemachubad. We say the matamim, right? Kasher ohavti. Kasher, like ohavti.
I like.
Right, I have liked, I've loved. V'havi ali,
And bring it to me.
and bring it to me. V'oichela, what?
I will eat it.
Right, because the word oichel comes from the root to eat. Ve is and he says oichela, I will eat it. Oichela, I will eat it.
The law is
How would you
this.
say? How would you?
The law is referring to the whatever the food was, and Ve'oichel means ve'oichela, I will eat it.
Right.
Ba'avor, in order, tivarechecha nafshi b'terem amos. Tivarechecha nafshi, not that my soul will bless you, right? The cha in the end, tivarechecha is you. Tivarech is, barech is to give a bracha.
What's the tet at the beginning?
The tes, the tough.
Tough at the beginning.
Tough is female, the nefesh speaking, my nefesh will tivarech, right? Just like a lady,
My soul.
she tivarech, she will,
How do
the
you say
future.
you will?
No, but your neshama
Also sometimes.
is mentioned feminine.
Is it a different...
Also, it could be they're both with the tough.
You, mevarech.
So
Devorah?
Mevarech.
Oh God.
no. So it's both. It's sometimes also with the tough, but it's the future. So the tough is in the beginning.
Avarechacha?
Avrech is I will bless you.
Exactly.
Right.
Means you will
Tivarechacha
bless you.
is you, right? But here it refers to the
Tivarech
nafshi.
nafshi.
Tivarechacha nafshi.
My soul will bless
My soul will bless you.
you.
So then it should be Yivarechacha nafshi.
No,
It
No,
will
that's
bless
he.
you, my soul.
Yivarecha is he. He
your
will
soul
bless
isn't
you.
mentioned.
Oh right, the
in
ta
Bible.
is she.
Tia it could be she.
That's what it is.
And therefore it's
ta is you female.
Her
right.
my soul.
And being that
Ta versus te.
right. And being that we'll have to think about that.
The algorithm
And
is
being that the tough is in the front of the word and not in the end of the word, so the front of the word says that this word is going to be put
In the future.
in the future, right? If it's in the end of the word, then it's on the past. So tivarechacha, now my soul will bless you, b'terem amos, before I die. So that's pasuk Dalet. Okay, let's go pasuk Hey. Make a landing on Hey. This is, by the way, a beautiful idea. By the way, what we just finished with Rabbeinu Bachaya is good. When we say the Asher Yotzar, that's what we're saying. The Asher Yotzar is the Adam. Hashem created the body, and it's connected with the neshama. Umafli las. We say the last words are he mafli. He does a
Wonder.
wonder.
Right.
Yeah.
He flowers.
Mafli to
I used to
Pella.
say in English.
Pella is a wonder which cannot be
Like an
understood.
elephant.
What?
No.
That's a peel.
That's a pachyderm.
But they're related. An elephant's a wonder. It's a huge animal.
That's an interesting idea.
That's a nice
There are
connection
Jewish,
there.
a little bit
Chavin like Rabbi Eli Goldstein.
So
No, there was a rabbi that came and spoke in English.
okay. So in any event, what is the Pella? What's the Pella? So there's different explanations.
So it's that our body works.
One of the explanations that our
Things
body
that are
works
open are
That's
open.
Reb Schwab.
so amazingly, and it's all the
It
cavities.
comes from a pasuk, I think, in like Navi somewhere.
Very good, very good.
Use the word.
But one of the pshatim are, I think it's even brought down the Shulchan Aruch, could be Rashi, that the neshama and the guf work
Right,
together.
that's what Reb Schwab said. That they stay together.
That we have a neshama, we have a guf. The body is here, and you have a neshama that gets given to us from Hashem, and it gets breathed into us, and it works together, right? The guf wants to just enjoy the world,
Yeah, good.
right?
And that's why we say Chisei Chavodecha in the Asher Yitzhar. It's such a lofty term that we never use.
Oh,
If
that's
Chisei
nice.
Kavod, we never use that.
That's what I said also.
But it's to accentuate that point.
Oh, very good. They speak about this.
Reb Schwab.
But the idea of mafli lasois is that you suddenly have a fusion of two different entities which they're complete opposites. The guf wants to eat and drink and enjoy the world and go to a ball game and watch them shoot the ball.
Marquis.
That's the guf. That's the guf. And the neshama doesn't want that. The neshama wants just to do good things, good mitzvahs, and just to learn and do the right thing. That's the neshama. Now, there's opposites, right? The neshama doesn't want you to just eat. The neshama doesn't get anything out of eating, right? The guf doesn't get anything out of doing a mitzvah. But all of a sudden there's a fusion that if you don't eat, you don't have the power to learn good. Just to explain that better, there, Rabbeinu Bachaya, right? If a person fasts, so all of a sudden it's hard for him to learn. It's hard for him to soar up when he's in the middle of learning or davening. He can't concentrate. Why can't he just do a service of Hashem just because he didn't eat anything this morning? He didn't sleep. So there's a fusion here, umafli la'asais, that the neshama becomes intertwined with the guf, and if he's not taking care of himself, if he's sick, he can't do service of Hashem anymore, because it affects him. The neshama and the guf, that's a pella, that they become fused together, and if his neshama is not good, then he can't live anymore, right? If the neshama flies out, the guf is dead. And if the guf is not good, the neshama can't service. Therefore, it's mafli la'asois, the pella, that they fuse together, two distinct entities to form one. That's a beautiful pshat to have kavana next time we say those words. But let's go to the pasuk.
The telephone.
On the pella.
Except for Shabbat.
Okay.
Mitzvah to eat.
Okay, pasuk.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Rivka shoymas. So it says now, and Rivka shoymas. Shoymas comes from the root shoymea, to listen. Now, the question is, what exactly is the tense? Which tense is this? What does the word mean? Shoymas.
Here is peasant.
So if you so we spoke out the rule. The old rule of know, if you want to know if it's the present, past, or future, is if it's at the beginning of the word, or if there's a suffix, or if there's a silent middle fix, which is silent. You notice it's missing a vav here, but it sounds like there's missing a vav here, right? It should be shin vav mem ayin saf. It should be shoy ma'as, right, with the nekuda. It should be shoy ma'as. So it's missing a vav, but you could put that vav in middle. So therefore, it's saying the present tense. Shoy ma'as. So it sounds, but it's still an interesting word. What is it saying? It doesn't say she was listening, because it should have said hoisa shoy ma'as. It should have said she was listening. So they all ask, why doesn't it say a right normal tense? It should have said hoisa shoy ma'as. It should have said vatishma Rivka. She heard
it in a dream.
She.
Mike, excellent.
There we go.
Very, very good. Almost. Very good.
With the danger.
Says the Medrash Tanchuma, along with the Orach Chaim, both of them together. The Orach Chaim says that the way she did it, Shoymas, means she just heard it. She was always listening. How do you always listen?
Listening to what Yitzchak said.
How do you always listen to what Yitzchak's saying, even if it was said when she wasn't around? The answer says, Mike, the Orach Chaim HaKadosh, and the Medrash Tanchuma, well, she had a prophecy. And that prophecy filled her in, included her in on this, and therefore she knew Bidaber Yitzchak, because notice the next words, Bidaber. What does Bidaber mean? Bidaber is also a funny word.
With. Or in.
So the word daber means to talk, but bidaber is also very funny. Bidaber, when he spoke. So it sounds like whenever he spoke, that's when she heard. So that goes good. That Shoymas bidaber Yitzchak, whenever he spoke.
Be means when?
Be means.
It doesn't mean with or in?
With. Right, so with.
So it seems kind of weird.
But it means, or here it's used loosely to be when. Right, here would be, according to the Orach Chaim himself speaks this out, when he would speak. When?
So for Rashi it was pashut?
Rashi
didn't say anything.
Rashi, he doesn't talk about it, which means that that the literal can be assumed.
Yeah, so Rashi didn't go.
You're just skipping it.
This is a drush. So it could be that Rashi could learn this pashut. Rashi, you're right. Rashi maybe didn't go into that idea of shoymas, but he learned it kapshuta, that she just heard it. She happened to overhear it. She was in the kitchen. Yitzchak thought that she loved Asa the same way, and she heard it. She heard it.
It couldn't be heard.
The Ibn Ezra, I'll tell you, he adds a word. He says hoisa, right? He says Rivka shoymas, hoisa shoymas. He puts in one word into the pasuk.
You can't just put it in the word in Torah.
He says that's what it means. It means she was listening. She was listening. She overheard. So that's how Rashi could learn. Just a simple explanation. She overheard, and she heard Yitzchak to speak when he spoke El Esav to Esav B'nai. Vayelech Esav hasada. And Esav went hasada.
He was never told to go to the field, though.
Yes, he was.
Yes, he was.
Sentence before.
We're back to Pasuk Gimel, Mike.
Gimel.
The shoes.
Say no kel kelef atat kashtecha v'tzei hasada. Go out to the field. So he did exactly as his father had asked him in this aspect. He went out to the field, but the next part he deviated. Lotzud Sayid. That part was still good. His father asked him Lotzud Sayid. Right. That was the last words in Pasuk Gimel. But here Lehavi. Lehavi means to bring. So everyone asked, what does it mean Lehavi? Obviously he went to bring it, right? Why did Rivka have to? Right? What is the idea? He went to the field to trap a trap to bring it. Obviously he's going to bring it. What else is he going to do with it?
But he was asked to bring it.
Obviously, so we have to
no,
say
but we asked the same question up there. So we
where? No, but before it doesn't say Lahavi.
What do you say?
Obviously he said Lavi. He said Lavi, bring it to me.
The Aviali, right? He said bring it.
So why did he say that?
But why did they have to? Right? Okay, so Yitzchak is telling him what to do with it. Trap it and bring it to me.
Right, so then it's saying, and Yitzchak trapped it,
And brought it.
Yitzchak trapped it, and then
brought it to him like he was told.
But it didn't happen yet. Here it's saying the pasuk, but he went to the field. Lotzud, lamid, lot, to trap it, to trap a trap, lehavi, in order to bring it.
But that's what he was told to do.
But obviously he's going to bring it.
Yeah,
you have to tell me to bring it and to put on a plate and to lay it on.
So why is it brought again? What's the...
Right, why do you have to say lehavi? Obviously, he put it on a plate and he put it in front of him, and he said, "Here it is." Did he have to? The pasuk have to say? And he put it on a plate and he put it in front of his father, and he said, "Here I am."
It was specifically he was doing it was supposed to be he should do a keyboard out. He should do
so
it
he did every single thing that he was asked.
every step that he's doing it lishma, that he's.
That's a nice idea.
He assumed that
but it's wrong.
That's a nice idea. But let's see Rashi. Right? Rashi has another idea. That is a good shot. It could be that shot, but Rashi has another shot. Rashi says in Pasuk Hey, Lots of Sayid Lahavi, Mahu Lahavi. Rashi asks the question, what is Lahavi? Of course he's going to bring it. What's this word doing here? So Rashi answers, Im lo yimatze Sayid, Yavi min hagezel.
He's basically saying like he only cares about bringing it, so he doesn't care how he traps it.
Right. Lahavi, in any event. He went out, lots of Sayid, but if he can't find a trap, Lahavi, he will bring it. Me avilu min hagezel, even if he'll have to steal it.
Okay.
Yes.
Can we just, then, with that mindset of why would you put Lavi, why do we have to even say side? Obviously he's gonna trap, like, he's going
No, he went out to try and trap it, but if he can't, then he'll steal it.
No, but idea
but wait, so
if
that's
you
why
put
Yaakov
Lavi,
got
why
so
do you
quick.
put side?
No, so we still in Pasuk Gimel also, lots of the two belief
No,
side.
we
It
just-
means trap.
Kira's gonna
It's just a trap or trapping.
Yeah.
Pasuk Gimel does the same idea. Trap for me is a trap.
So that's the thing, it says both side and Lavi, right?
No, here's Lahavi.
That's-
Here the question is, what is no? It doesn't say Lahavi in Pasuk Gimel.
Oh, it doesn't.
No, because that was Yitzchak's command. Trap for me or trapping.
Trapping.
But here he says he went to trap a trapping. Lahavi. In any event, even if he doesn't find anything, he still will bring it. So here you see that the Torah is saying testimony to Esav's intentions. That was his idea. He was going to bring it back no matter what. So therefore,
Can I ask a
Yes.
question? So is he doing that because he wants to be
Go ahead.
gets his bracha, or is he doing it because he's kibbutz avim?
why did Esav? So now Esav, here you see
For the
again.
bracha or for the
Here
kibbutz?
you see this idea of if you get involved, if you do one mitzvah, you get it too much, you could blow it out of proportion till that's the whole Torah, and everything else falls by the wayside. And here, what happened was he was so intent on kibbutz of aim, he was going to do it at any risk, and that therefore we saw he had to take an arrow. Always take an arrow. Or that could be, his father told him, don't get too involved in the mitzvah that you're going to rush out, you're not going to sharpen your knife. Sharpen the knife, don't push anything aside to do this mitzvah, keep it of aim. It's a great mitzvah. But no mitzvah is bigger than the next, so you should push away a different mitzvah, do this
But I
one.
really want to get the bracha though.
So yeah, that also. But keep it of aim, he was very intent. So therefore he said, Yitzchak had to warn him, sharpen the knife. And also, like you're saying
Sharpen
here,
the sword.
he
No,
told him.
not the sword. Sharpen the arrow. That it
But
should,
Rashi says it's sharpen the knife,
Only the
to
knife.
chef it good. And what are you saying now, JR? You're bringing up the point of.
That's what I'm saying. What's his desire? Is it the bracha or is it the kibbutz avim?
So you see, so he had both, because the fact that he respected his father so much, therefore he realized his father has a good bracha.
But it seems like he doesn't care so much about bracha from earlier.
No, he cared about bracha. He cared.
Well, he didn't
a
care
lot.
about the becharas,
He
right?
did.
He didn't care about it.
He
so
cared
much.
about the bechayra a lot.
Wow.
But he cared about something else
Well, he cared about
more.
his goof more.
He was very hungry that day, so
Right.
therefore that pushed away everything else. Yes, so he cared about the bracha. You're going to see what happens when he sees that he missed the bracha.
So wait, so then-
But on that day when he sold it, he cared about his body more.
So if anything, that supports revolving.
That's what he
anyway.
spoke out.
That
His
supports
head,
revolving anyway.
his head was in the Marathon Machpelah, but
Right.
his slave wasn't, because his heart controlled him.